Welcome again, YouTube. This is Max One Chase One. I'm in the process now where I'm going to change my new thermostat and take the old one out here and change the thermostat. I'm going to show you some of the steps that I'm going to do, and if you have a ST1100, some of the similar things I did here may be similar to the earlier models and the later models. As you notice in my previous videos, I talked about I went to go and change the thermal switch here, and then I wanted to change the fan. And before you get to them, some of the things you might want to take into consideration if you're gonna go more in depth is to take off the fan and some of the covers. And if you're gonna take off change the thermostat, you're gonna have to wind up and take some of these covers off, but mine is on the other side. So let's go around the other side, talk about that. You gotta take off this right side cover, and you gotta take off this whole side cover that goes all the way back to here, just to get here and to get to this section here. It's a bad spot for it, but it's not that often you have to go into that on a ST1100. First of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I'm going to do first. Like I'm going to have to drain some of the water out of the radiator and let it get below this point here, or get below that hose. And then we'll open up the thermostat and we'll change it. I am going to point out, the bike is cold, and I do know that this is most likely is going to be the thermostat, because I've changed the fan switch, the fan, and when I felt the engine and the fan, I mean the radiator, the engine was warm, but the radiator was still cool. So somewhere water's not getting back through the thermostat to go back into the radiator. Alright, so like I said before, the engine is cold. First thing you want to do is take off your radiator cap. Again, this helps for ventilating the radiator so fluid can drain a little bit freely. I'm not going to drain that much, I just want to get it below where the thermostat is. I already have a basin, so I'm set there now to wind up and open up the radiator drain valve and let some of the radiator fluid out. Again, I'm not going to let too much out, just enough so to get below the thermostat. After the radiator is drained, there's a little bit of a damper plate that's right here. And all it requires is one Phillips screw that's right here in this little pocket right here. So I'm going to wind up and take that screw out. And by taking this little plate off, it's just one screw holding it, it gives you excess. And my light fell. But going back, like I said, there's this little plate gives you access. By taking it off, gives you access to that one screw that's right down below here. So let's go ahead and take that screw out. Alright, now the screw is a little small screw, so watch it so it don't fall down in the engine area, and you can be lost without cause unless you have to go get another one. And that's the size of that screw, so don't lose it. Put that one there. Take this little plate, you can wiggle it out. I'm doing it with one hand. And it comes out just that easy. And you can kind of see where the hole is with that one screw that holds it in. When you get to this point now, there are 3 bolts I'm going to take off, and all of them are 10 millimeters. There's one here, one up here at the top right, and one over here at the lower left. I have a long extension because I tried to make sure I have a right extension. on this one back in the back, you're going to come from the front right through the forks to get to that one just like that, and that'll fit. Alright, so I'm going to take those 3 bolts loose, and then after that I'll show you exactly how the thermostat is positioned inside the thermostat housing. One word to the wise: leave this bolt here for last, because that will help hold the thermostat housing in place and won't let it move around. So if you move this bolt, you don't have the leverage to break that bolt and break this bolt on this end. Again, now you can kind of see I do have the thermostat housing loose, and you kind of see how important it was for you to leave this last bolt here so you can have the leverage. Alright, now this seam here, that's the seam where the thermostat housing is going to separate, and the thermostat is sticking from there into here. So I'm going to wind up and tap on this a little bit and try to pry that open so I can get to the thermostat. Now how I got the thermostat, I took my ratchet just like this, and I just lightly tapped it just like that until it broke. And let's take a look and see what position on how the thermostat is in there. Alright, you can kind of see you got the housing here. This goes over the top of that and comes back over. So as you see with the new thermostat, it's gonna have to go in the same way with the housing going over just like that. So this is the direction that it'll go. You can see the pin, push pin part would support the thermostat right there. Alright, so again, like I said, I'm doing just enough to keep from having to take so much stuff off. And now I'm going to try to wiggle that thermostat out of there and place the other one right back in there. Alright, let's do it in real time, I guess, why not? Alright, separate that a little bit, push as far as I can. Grab the thermostat, you can see it's a rubber gasket with it. Give myself a little bit more room. And out it comes. Now I'm going to look at that gasket to make sure that that gasket fits back into a place where it came from. But the gasket is sitting on this side, but on this side of the thermostat, it has a gauge for it, or a gouge in it, so that the gasket goes into there. So I'm going to replace this gasket from over here where it's stuck and put it back over here. I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to try to give you a closer look on it. You see the ring here? That's where that gasket goes. Alright, so I'm going to take that gasket off from the other side where it's sticking and stick it back to here. Put the new thermostat in, and I hope we're got that fixed. As always, every time when you order things just don't come the way you expect them to come. I was expecting a new gasket that came with the new thermostat, and it didn't. So what I had to do, I had to take a rag and just gradually just pull the old thermostat around through the rag and dry it off and clean it off just like this. Notice how I'm not pulling it or stretching it, because I am going to reuse it. And it's in good shape. There's no signs of tear or dry rot. So I'm going to put it right back on. I'll put this thermostat back in and work it back in. Also too, the gasket went in with no problem. Like it fit just like a glove. Alright, now I can't do this and put the bolts back in, so I'm going to put the bolts back in, and there we have it. Now all the 3 bolts are back in. The one here, the one up here at the top right here, and the one on the back side right here. Everything's nice and secure and tight, and that's how you change a thermostat on a 1998 Honda ST1100. Doing this is simple. It's taking all this bull crap off. They need to have came up with a better method than this. Alright, so maybe that's why they're paying motorcycle mechanics a lot of money per hour. Alright, so do this yourself. Just take your time. Make sure you got some good tools. Thanks for watching. Share. Subscribe. Yeah, we're just here to help fellow bikers and everybody else out there in the world. Why pay someone when you can do it yourself?